Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renzi, your host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, we're going to do a quick little preview of the Raiders-Commanders Week 3 matchup in Washington. I'm going to talk about where I think the Raiders can really execute and take advantage of some opportunities on the offensive side of the football. I'm also going to talk about some of the defensive side of the football and how we can execute a plan. But ultimately, both teams are coming off a loss. Both teams are probably sitting there going, it's a must-win game. And this is a very obvious statement, but feeling 2-1 and 1-2 is a very different song and a very different dance for both teams that, let's face it, the Commanders, they were in the NFC Championship game last year. They want to get back to there. If you're the Raiders, you're looking at the AFC West and you're going, I think it's the most open this division has been in a very long time. You're trying to get there. And if you didn't know when this game was going to be going on, it's going to be happening 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be live here on the Raiders Report breaking this one down. And right now, we're underdogs, and I'm okay with that. I like the fact that we're underdogs. Quite frankly, if we could beat dogs in every single game, that would fire me the F up. What's really going to be interesting, though, about this game is what exactly happens at the quarterback position here for Washington. And at the time I'm making this video, we still don't know the exact happenings of Jaden Daniels. He's doubtful/questionable. We'll see what happens. But if you plan on watching this game online, there's one place and one place only you need to be. It's here on the Raiders Report, the #1 place on YouTube for Raiders watch parties. We had 256,000 people for our Raiders-Chargers game, and that was a shit game. Let's just be honest. It's a hard game to watch, and it was at frickin' 10 o'clock Eastern time. We gave away $2,890 in duck races. You got an opportunity to win some money. Also, you have a chance to win a signed Ashton Jeanty helmet. That's why you subscribe. That's why we're the #1 most watched Raiders show on the planet, and that's why you should tune in every game day. So here's how we're going to go. We're just going to go through what to watch for offense, and then we will go to the defensive side of the football. From a quarterback perspective, everybody, including my mother, is watching one thing today, and that's going to be how does Geno Smith respond? And we're going to learn a lot about Geno, and I think we're going to learn a lot about this offense. When you have as bad of a game as what Smith did, 3 interceptions, his home opener at Allegiant Stadium, you expect more. Now, the Commanders, they've allowed 213 passing yards per game, which right now is 18th in the NFL. Geno, week 1, was able to throw the football down the field better than anybody in the NFL, 9 completions of 20-plus yards. This past week against the Chargers, 0 for 11, and you know Pete Carroll's old buddy, Dan Quinn, who's now the head coach over there, I think they're going to do a lot of the things that you saw the Chargers do. Take away the deep ball, play some cover 2, and allow you to take the underneath route. If I'm the Raiders, I'm taking the underneath route, and I'm happy about it. Let's go to the running back position now. Ashton Jeanty, got him, get him going a little bit. I know that Zamir White looked good at times in the preseason. I don't want to see Zamir White out on the field anymore. Yes, he showed some flashes that he can do a good job in pass protection, but so did Ashton Jeanty. And I'm sorry, but I know I've been very critical of Brendan Carroll this entire week. He just needs to get the ground game going. He needs to get his offensive line going. Because Jeanty right now averaging 2.7 yards per carry. You're just not going to win a lot of football games. For Washington, they're allowing 104.5 rushing yards per game right now, 14th best in the NFL. It's been a team that you can run on, and I'm hoping that that's what they do, because if you try to establish the run, it's going to be amazing how much it opens everything else for this offense. Let's go to the wide receiver position here for the Silver and Black, and I do anticipate that Jakobi Meyers is probably going to be the #1 target yet again. He's been Geno's go-to guy, and I kind of explained to a lot of people earlier this offseason that I anticipate the way that Geno uses Jakobi is very similar to the way that Seattle used Jackson Smith and Jigba last year, where he got to pick up some clutch first downs, going to get a lot of targets, and that's what they're going to do. I also do not know if you're going to have a 100% healthy Brock Bowers, and if he's not out there every single day, they're just going to scheme up yet again for Jakobi. Hopefully, though, he can find pay dirt. If the Raiders are, we'll say, pressed, or if the Raiders are faced with a defense like they faced against the Chargers, you have to be able to take what is given to you. If all that is open is a 4-yard gain, take the 4-yard gain. If all is open to you is a 3-yard gain, take the 3-yard gain instead of forcing it on 3rd down and 15 and throwing another interception. The Commanders this season have allowed 19 catches, 235 yards, and 1 touchdown to the wide receiver position. That is against 2 I would say pretty damn good teams, one being the Green Bay Packers most recently. The Raiders can take advantage of this. I want to see a better Dante Thornton. I want to see a better Trey Tucker, especially Tucker on the intermediate routes. Dante's got to be able to win some more down the field, but watch out for Jakobi to really feast on the intermediate routes. That's how I think we can win this game. So here's going to be a question that I want everybody that's got a pulse. Do that real quick if you don't know. Scale it from 1 to 10. What's your confidence level in the Raiders to beat the Washington Commanders? 3.5-point dogs on the road at noon. Let me know down below. My answer coming up here after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go, it's a 6. But it's a 6 if Marcus Mariota is the quarterback. I know that anybody can beat anybody in the NFL, but I am a subscriber to the belief of if you got a better quarterback, you got a better chance to win. Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Mariota. If Jaden Daniels is out there, even if he's got a bad knee, I'd probably drop this answer down here to a 3 or a 4 because, again, it's on the road, and the Commanders had an extra day to be able to, actually, a few extra days to be able to prepare. They played on Thursday night. Let's go to the tight end position now, and all eyes are going to be on 89. And Bowers this past week, he played in 77% of the snaps. When he's healthy, he basically plays usually in 100% of those snaps. And I really want the Raiders to be able to go out there and use more of the 12 personnel, especially in the red zone. And anybody out there that is going to be playing a Prize Picks lineup, anybody out there that wants to get a little bit of action in fantasy football, anybody out there that's got Brock Bowers or Michael Mayer maybe in fantasy, I think this is really where the Raiders can execute and take advantage of some mismatches here because the Commanders got some good linebackers. And I know Bobby Wagner's been around for a long time, but they've been struggling to cover tight ends. And right now, the Commanders have allowed 175 receiving yards to the tight end position this season. That is ranked 30th in the National Football League. I know it's only 2 weeks, and I know Tucker Kraft had a good game this past week, but I watched that Tucker Kraft game, and I sat back and I go, that's how we could use Brock Bowers. That's how we could use Michael Mayer. And I expect to see that this week, Chip. I'm coming for you. Offensive line is going to be the next thing that we talk about today. And if Jackson Powers-Johnson is healthy, he's got to be the center. I think I've said that maybe 100 times today on the live show. And if you agree with that statement, that JPJ should be the center, I want you to hit that like button. But to me, we right now have the best left tackle in the NFL, Colton Miller, with an 87.7 pass blocking grade. I mean, quite frankly, you can make an argument there might not be another more important player on this team than Colton Miller, because if you take away Colton Miller from the rest of that offensive line, oh my goodness, does it stink. And if JPJ is healthy, you put him at center, you put Meredith over at offensive guard, and right now Washington, 4 sacks on the season, tied for 16th in the NFL. They are very, very mediocre, but I know what teams are doing. They are blitzing the left side, they are forcing you to run to the right, or they are just trying to attack you from your interior position between Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, and Alex Kappa. If it is the Jordan Meredith, Alex Kappa, and Dylan Parham show again on the interior offensive line, it's going to be a hard game to watch. I'll tell you that right now. But I hope that we at least stick to the running game. Let's get physical. Let them run, even if we got to run through the air. Coming up next here on the show, what to watch for on the defensive side of the football. And you got to give credit where credit is due. And the defense has been why we've been in games. The defense is why we've been literally in both of our games this season. If you would have told me that we would have held the Chargers to 20 and New England to 13, I would have been sitting up here on the show saying we're 2-0 right now. We're still 1-1. We haven't played a good game yet, but glass half full, our defense is playing well. And I'm going to tell you what we need to be watching for and how to stop the Commanders here in just a second. But, hey, shout out to our sponsor here, Prize Picks. I don't have a lineup yet for this week, but I will say this. When I do actually get a lineup together for Prize Picks, the lineup that I'm going to be putting forth will 110% feature a tight end because I think that that's the matchup that the Raiders can take advantage of. And this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I, we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action in sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So let's now go to the defensive side of the football. And for those of you that don't know, that link is always going to be down in the comments and in the description of today's show and every show that I do when I talk about Prize Picks. But let's get now to the defensive side of the football, and let's talk about some of the things that we should be watching for. From a defensive end standpoint, people can get mad at me, and I know people are going to get mad at me because it's the unpopular thing to do to call out Max Crosby. But Max has got to be better, and nobody is above the shield. And I think that that's just got to be the honest statement. If you're not playing up to your standard, then you need to be called out. And Max Crosby right now, I don't think is playing up to the standard that I expect. The Raiders have 6 sacks this season, only 3 of which are from defensive end. Mad Max, Tyree, and also Malcolm Kuntz. We got 3 from the defensive tackle position, one of which, John Alelu. But Crosby needs to pick up his game. And I also think that he looks a little bit smaller this year. I don't know if he lost weight. I don't know if he's trying to add speed, but he's getting pushed around a little bit more than I'm used to seeing 98 get pushed around. And whether it's Jaden Daniels or Mariota, I think the Raiders got to be able to show that they can contain, because when you keep the game in front of them and you make them throw the football, especially Mariota, we're going to like the way we look. If we make Mariota chuck the ball over and over and over again, we're going to win that game. If we let Mariota be an athlete and get some confidence, then we might struggle a little bit, which... Let's go to the defensive tackle position. And this past week, the Raiders started 3 DTs to get that game rolling. I believe it was Thomas Booker, Lecky Fotu, and Adam Butler were the 3 defensive tackles that they ended up rolling with. And right now, Booker's your top DT. He's the guy generating the most pressure. He's the guy that's playing the most consistent football. And when you actually look at a lot of advanced metrics, he's probably a top 20 defensive tackle right now in terms of just win rate of getting after the quarterback. I know the PFF grade is 63.5, but I think he's done a lot better job. Lelu, if you look at box score, you're going to be like, this guy's having a career year. And he is having a career year. I think he's had more sacks this season than maybe he's had, ever in a season. But 3 sacks, one was a little bit of a gimme. I actually thought Max would have had it. But the Commanders are averaging 135.5 rushing yards per game. Those are boosted due to the running ability of Jaden. But Jaden, I get it, is a running quarterback. If you're a DT, what you got to do today, or I guess on Sunday against the Commanders, you got to take away their running game. Because if it is Mariota, they're going to want to run the football a lot more. They're going to run a little bit more RPO. And for a team that just lost Austin Eckler, their pass-catching running back, you got to expect that they're going to be running them with Bill. And Bill's going to try to run right up the gut at you. And they're going to try to be physical. Let's go to the linebacker position now. And Devin White has been doing a good job. Also, Jermaine Pratt has been doing a good job. But I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I'm so happy, and I mean this. Like, when players prove me wrong, that means that they're going out there and they're doing their thing. And Jamal Adams, there is not another player on the Raiders right now that is proving to say, you can go F yourself, Mitch. And you know what? I love it. Keep bringing it, Jamal. He's been one of the best linebackers on this team. Back-to-back weeks of the highest overall PFF grade. And quite frankly, I think he needs more snaps. Landon Roberts has got to play better. I think he's been struggling. He's been back-to-back losers for me. But I expect a lot of quarterback runs. I expect a lot of checkdowns. And when that happens, we need to ensure ourselves that we're securing the tackle. I know people get nervous about all these flags that come out for the quarterback. Just stick to your assignment. Don't get burned on a deep quarterback run. But when they are running, you got to wrap them up. Whether it's wide receivers, whether it's running backs. This is going to be a big game for linebackers because I'm telling you, the amount of checkdowns that are going to happen from Marcus Mariota, and Raider fans know it, a lot of checkdowns. We just got to make sure that we're wrapping guys up, and that's really going to be important in this game. So grade the Raiders' defense so far this season. Give me an A, B, C, D, or an F. How would you grade it? Get your red pens out. A is excellent, B is great, C is average, D is bad, F it's a fail. My grade for the Raiders defense is, I'm going to go ahead and give the Raiders defense an A grade. And I say that because we've battled and we've been in some ugly situations, but the 2 reasons, and these are the 2 biggest reasons why the Raiders deserve an A grade, second half adjustments. They allowed 3 points to the New England Patriots in that Week 1 game, and the 3 points that they scored were even kind of garbage time points. And we allowed 3 points to the Los Angeles Chargers in that game on Monday Night Football. good teams, good defenses make adjustments, and I hope that Raider Nation starts to see that Patrick Graham is one of the best coaches on defense in the National Football League. Let's go to the cornerback position. Eric Stokes was the best corner for the Raiders last week. I'll be curious to see if we ever see a little bit of Darian Porter. Kai Blue Kelly wasn't nearly as good as what we've seen in the past. But for this game, you got two receivers that if you're a cornerback, you got to try to take away. If it was up to me, I would put Eric Stokes on Deebo Samuel, and I would put Kai Blue Kelly on Terry McLaurin. And maybe that makes people a little bit nervous. If I had to imagine, they're probably going to put Stokes on McLaurin. But I just think based on skill set, it's just the matchup that I would go with. Stokes is a little bit more physical. Deebo's a little bit more physical. Kai Blue Kelly, I think, could hold it down. But right now, the Commanders are averaging 195.5 passing yards per game. It's 24th best in the NFL. Their top two target getters, Samuel and McLaurin. But you can't forget about Zach Ertz, and that's probably going to fall a little bit more on our safeties and our linebackers, which is where we're going to go next here. And our safeties can't get beat deep. If Mariota is the quarterback, and I know I keep saying a lot of ifs, but at this moment I don't know what it is, but I anticipate Mariota will play QB in this game. Mariota is going to really rely on Dinkin and the Duncan. Cuts, 1,000 paper cuts, how they're going to go down the field, right? So for the Raiders here, what you got to be able to prevent is you got to be able to prevent Mariota from hitting that big play. And last week, Isaiah Pola-Mao gave up 2 big plays, gave up 2 touchdowns, and if that's how that offense attacks you and they start hitting deep, they're going to rip you apart on the intermediate stuff because that's how they do it. But Pola-Mao last week was bad. 24.6 overall PFF grade. Jeremy Chin, I think it's going to be a huge game for him, and quite frankly, it's a revenge game for him, right? He played with Washington last season, had a career year up against Dan Quinn, up against his old team. He's going to want to be able to bring that energy. He's going to want to be able to bring that pop. But to me, you got to protect against the deep ball, and if you do that, it's going to be really tough for Washington to score, which has basically been my key to victory for the safeties over and over and over again. Let's go to the kicker special teams, and credit to Daniel Carlson. He's keeping us in games, and he looks like a really solid and reliable kicker, and I think this is going to be another game where we're going to have to rely on his foot. He's got 3 field goal attempts in each of his games here. He's 5 for 6 this season. He's been cranking them out also from long distance, where I'm a little bit nervous about special teams. And again, if I'm going to call it Max Crosby, you got to be able to call A.J. Cole, because Cole got a brand new extension this offseason, highest paid punter in the NFL, and right now his touchback percentage is 28.6%. Just so you all know, he's never been above 12.3. He already has 2 touchbacks this season, and I just hold AJ to a higher standard. He is on pace to have the worst year of his career, and it's not even close. I say that because this could be one of those, again, maybe it's a lower scoring game. I don't know what to expect, but if it's a lower scoring game, we got to be able to flip the field. We have to be able to win that field possession. And then for Zamir White on kickoffs, I'm done with it. Zamir White can't be on kickoffs anymore. He clearly has no confidence in his ability to do it. I also wonder, Trey Tucker. Like the amount of times I think Trey Tucker calls a fair catch when a fair catch is not needed, it's a little bit frustrating. And I say that because when your offense is struggling, you got to be able to find the juice. You got to be able to figure out a way to create a little bit of energy and get some momentum on your side. What I would do if I was the Raiders, I would put Dylan Laube at kickback a little bit more, kick return. But to me, Zamir White, I'm sorry, he has no business being on kick return duties. If he doesn't believe in himself, how can you believe in him? So for those of you that do not know, again, I will be live 1 hour before kickoff. It'll be 12 p.m. Eastern time for Raiders on the road against the Washington Commanders. We're road dogs. That's okay. If the Raiders are going up against Mariota, I expect them to win. And I expect them to come out, be fired up, and show that they care about wearing that shield on their chest. I expect them to show out and show up because, as JPJ said it, you play for the team on the front. That way it blesses the team on the back. And I need some people that got paid this offseason to show why you got paid.